beginning. The beginning has happened. Oh, we have to click. This game likes to make us click. Alright, so here we go. We're gonna click. We have to click again.
Hurry, hurry, right this way to the world's most disturbing collection of human oddities. I'm Tex, your host and guide, and this is Mickey the Mumbling Midget. Mumble für den Folks, Mickey.
I think we need to turn the volume up a little bit. I think we need to turn the volume up a little bit. There we go. I don't know what that was all about, but okay. You hear that noise? It was like... kind of gross. Okay, what do we got here? The Human Mole.
Pass beneath this portal and peer into the subterranean world so strange that you will doubt its existence, even as you leer into the lair of Herman the Human Mole.
Alright, I'm down with that. Whoa, we opened the door. Let's go. Oh, now I'm scared. I'm suddenly scared. Power lines. It's a piano. I see a piano. It looks like a cozy room. It does. And look, the TV. That's a nice looking television. I wouldn't mind having that television, although I wouldn't like it to just be blue. What if we just sit here? I haven't been able to see much. You know? This is kind of disappointing. How much did I pay to go to this show? I think I got ripped off. Uh-oh. Okay, something wasn't working. Oh! Oh, I think it's my mouse. It's not the game, it's my mouse. Well, is that all we can do there? Guess so. Maybe we'll go back there later. See what else we got here. We got
merely cover-ups for much more hideous horrors beneath. Only the residents, stars of stage, screen, phonograph und now CD-ROM know for sure. Ha 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 ha!
Do we dare go in here? I guess we will. I gotta see that again. I want to see it again. Let's see that again. All right. Quite the show. Quite the show. Quite the show.
Here's Harry. Harry the Head, formerly known as King of the Freaks, now faithfully fulfilling its final prophecy. He lives forever in a bottle of formaldehyde.
Ooh, sounds exciting. Let's see Harry the Head. Rip. Rip. Rip, Harry. What the heck is this game? What is this?
You can pour him from a pitcher or put him in a pie like pudding. It's Jelly Jack, the world's one and only boneless boy. Does it think and feel? Look this way and learn the secrets of Jelly Jack.
Drugs. This is drugs. It's not much of a game. It's more like a clicking. It's more like an experience. It's kind of like a walking simulator, I guess, in a lot of ways. But I'm not even sure if there's much of a story here. So, but it's silly. It's ridiculous. It's got. I mean, this is 1994. These are pretty damn good graphics for 1994. You know. Like, really? Okay. This is Jelly Jack. Hey, go, man. Yeah, my understanding is this is some of the best graphics of the time. So, you know. We're talking about cutting edge technology here. Alright, we can click him, and he, like, moves, and that's about it. That's Jelly Jack. Jelly Jack. And he goes, admire the folds. Yeah, exactly. Alright. Wanda the Worm Woman.
She figgles and jiggles like a tub of rubber blubber. It's Wanda. Wanda the Worm Woman, smiling her saintly smile while loudly licking her wet and figgling worms. And no one knows why, not even myself.
Sorry, I said it wrong. Wanda the Wonder of Woman. Apologies. Let's click on it.
Watch me, watch me. 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 Watch me, watch me.
Sweet, merciful crap!
Alright. There we go. Next one is Benny the Bump.
Is it a rumor or is it a tumor? Yes, friends, it can only be the bump of bouncing Benny, hiding beneath his cape and waiting to be revealed in his famous dance, the bouncing bump.
Alright, here we go. Benny's Bump. Time for Benny the Bump and his bumpin' Benny bumpin' bump. Why is this game? You know, I don't know, but there was a sequel to this too. There's a sequel or another one of these, so it wasn't. It's not the only one by the Residents. So they made another one. All right, let's keep going. No admittance. Well, that's where I want to go.
Nein, it is forbidden to go in there. Nein, you must stay out of this area.
All right, let's look at pickled punks.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, a moment of silence. For this is the trailer of the Pickled Punks. Properly preserved remains of their greatest attractions in freak show history. Enter if you dare.
Do I dare? I don't know if I dare. I guess I dare. What? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Hey, go, man. Thanks for the 2 months of Prime gaming. Apparently you hadn't gotten your incentive pick, so it gave you one. So there you go. That's what my bot says. It said you hadn't gotten one, so it gave you one. I don't know if that's correct, but it does look to be correct. Alright, let's pick... I guess we'll pick A1. I don't know what's gonna happen.
John May Arcee was a couple who exhibited themselves as a pair of hermaphrodites. Both were supposedly double-sexed, but with a difference. John changed horizontally, going from female to male at the waist, while May's transformation was vertical, male on the right and female on the left. They toured during the early part of the century.
Ooh, we're learning? Are we learning? I think we're learning here. I think we're definitely learning. All right, maybe. Or assuming you're paying attention. What about B1? Let's put B1. Hey, that did something.
The most successful example of the wild men genre of freak show exhibits was Clicko, a genuine South African whose real name was Frans Tebosch. He first appeared in the United States in 1912 and was a featured attraction for the Ringling Brothers during the 1920s and 30s. According to the official biography that appeared in a pant sold by Clicko at his shows, he was captured wearing an ostrich skin by Captain Dewberry in the Kalahari Desert. Clicko was one of many wild men referred to as Darwin's missing link, an image not easily supported by his fondness for large black cigars. He was advertised as being 115 years old when he died in 1940.
Alright, well, apparently we have a bunch of these. Like, a bunch of these. Holy crap-a-ronies. Holy crap-a-macaroni. We're gonna be here for a while. This is basically the game right here, is learning. This game is, unbeknownst to us, this game is educational. This game is educational. So, here we go. You ready to learn?
The so-called Aztec children were actually microcephalic dwarves from a small village in Central America who were taken by a Spanish trader from their parents in order to cure their imbecility. Their first public appearance was in 1849, and as preposterous as the story of their Aztec origin seems to us now, it was easy at that time for their owner-manager and promoters to prey upon the gullibility of a public fascinated by exotic cultures. They were well received by the scientific community, members of Congress, and President Fillmore, as well as the royalty of Europe, including Napoleon. According to the beliefs of their culture, the Aztec children got married on January 7, 1867 in London. The marketability of the mentally disabled couple had waned as they got older, and the marriage was a final publicity stunt designed to revive their flagging careers. No record exists of their death.
I think so. Yeah, I think this is like factual information on freak shows. Like this I think is what we're here for. We get to learn factual information on freak shows. And probably learn about, you know, their inherent, like, and we get to maybe learn about racism too. We'll see.
As Siamese twins joined at the hip, Rosa and Josefa had two vaginas but shared one anus. Born in Czechoslovakia in 1878, they were initially abandoned by their parents, but managed to become major attractions in both America and Europe by 1892. Accomplished musicians, they played violin and xylophone and also entertained audiences with their dancing, each moving gracefully with a different partner. Their most notorious achievement was that of giving birth to a baby boy out of wedlock on April 17, 1910. Before the birth, they had denied the possibility of pregnancy, but eventually the father came forward with an offer of marriage. The result of his offer was a wave of controversy around the moral propriety of the resulting union. The question of potential bigamy was eventually answered when no state would issue a marriage license, and the hopeful husband moved on. Afterwards, Josepha became jealous of Rose's attachment to her child, and the relationship between the sisters deteriorated. They died in Chicago in 1922.
Okay. That sounds like a weird relationship. I'm gonna say that right now. That sounds like a very, very weird relationship. Are we learning yet?
The marriage of Tom Thumb and Lavinia Warren is rivaled in freak show history only by that of Captain and Mrs. Bates, the tallest couple alive. With the bride wearing a dress given to her by Queen Victoria, the giant couple was married in London, June 17, 1871, and a few days later they were given a reception by the Prince of Wales. The resulting publicity surrounded the event was a tremendous value to their career for years to come. Martin Van Buren Bates, a Civil War veteran, was originally billed as Captain Bates, the Kentucky Giant. He and Anna Swan, the Nova Scotia Giantess, met when both were featured by P.T. Barnum early in their career. The couple had 2 children, but neither lived longer than 24 hours. One, a girl, was born May 19, 1872, and weighed 18 pounds. The other, born January 18, 1879, was a boy whose weight was an incredible 23 3/4 pounds. Anna and the captain built a giant-sized house for themselves on a farm outside of Seville, Ohio, in the mid-1870s, and only toured once more, from 1878 to 1880. Anna died one day before her 42nd birthday on August 5, 1888. Captain Bates remarried a few years later and lived until 1919.
How tall were they? Like, I don't think that they were called the tallest couple alive, but I don't remember hearing how tall they were. And some of these are probably going to be sad. Yeah, that's probably true. Like, I have no doubt about it. And what's Ralph America? I don't know. We'll get to it. Maybe they don't know. I kind of doubt
Priscilla
they don't
was
know.
adopted by sideshow owners Carl J. Lowther and his wife. She was left with them by Portuguese parents when she was only a few days old. The baby was covered with long black hair. As an older child, she was exhibited as the chimp, as the monkey girl. At the age of 17, she was proposed to by Emmett Behanyo, the alligator skin boy. Emmett wanted her to stay with him at the sideshow rather than leave with a wealthy Cuban woman who wished to adopt and educate her. They eloped and became the world's strangest married couple. Her chimp's name was Joanna.
Okay. Hey, where's the 0? I don't have a 0. I have no 0. How am I supposed to look at that one when I don't have a 0? I just noticed that.
Eli Bowen, born in Ohio in 1844, was perhaps the best known of the legless wonders. His career, which spanned over half a century, was sustained by a legless body that had 2 feet protruding from his hips at the spots where his legs normally would be found. His career started when he was 13, and he eventually became part of Barnum and Bailey's famous tour of Europe at the turn of the century. Eli's powerful arms and shoulders resulted from a form of locomotion in which his arms replaced his missing legs as he suspended his torso on wooden blocks held in his hands. He used this strength in his presentation as an acrobat. Another integral part of his act was the introduction of his attractive wife, Maddie, and their 4 children. Eli eventually retired in Ogden, California.
Okay. Keep going.
The original Siamese twins, Chang and Ing, were born in Mekong, Siam, now Thailand, in 1811. They were attached at the chest by a band of cartilage, which stretched over time to the length of 5 inches, allowing them to stand side by side. Born to poor parents who already had 4 children, they eventually became wealthy landowners and adopted the name of Bunker as naturalized American citizens. After prolonged negotiations, the King of Siam finally allowed them to leave for exhibition with an English impresario, Robert Hunter. He arrived with the twins in Boston in 1829, and they were an immediate success. In addition to their obvious physical attributes, Chang and Ing were very strong and agile, as evidenced by the backflips and somersaults, which were a featured part of their presentation. They also had a low level of self-consciousness about their deformity and often made jokes about their condition to others, and even from the stage. Good businessmen, they became independent from outside management and finally secure in their early 20s. After buying a farm in rural North Carolina in the late 1830s, they married local sisters, Adelaide and Sarah Yates, in 1843, and began to raise 2 separate families. Eventually, they had 22 children and split their times between 2 different homes. The Civil War ruined the brothers financially and forced them back into show business, where they were once again hugely successful.
22.
As they got older, Chang developed a drinking problem, and the two often quarreled. In January 1874, Chang came down with bronchitis, which quickly developed into pneumonia. Eng awoke in the middle of the night on January 19th to discover Chang lying dead beside him. He died 4 hours later. They were 63 years old.
Okay. Okay. Alright. Keep going.
Chang Wu Gao, known as the Chinese Giant, was born in Fuzhou, China in 1846. Since he was always displayed wearing a tall hat with a Chinese midget at his feet, it was easy for the audience to accept his claim of being nearly 9 feet tall. But a medical examination showed him to be merely 7 feet 8.5 inches. He also claimed to have a sister 10 inches taller than himself, who unfortunately died before leaving China. Chang was first exhibited in London in 1865 and died in November 1893 after having settled in southern England.
I don't think this one is available. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I don't think Ralph America is available. I don't actually know what that number is. Like, it's a phone number, 1-800-795-383933. It seems like a phone number, but I don't know what it is.
Little is known of Margaret Clark, other than that she strongly exemplified one of human oddity's more fascinating categories. With a partially formed parasite sister lifelessly dangling from her abdomen, Margaret was known as more than one, yet not two. In 1949, she toured with the James Strait shows. Margaret and her sister also modeled for the cover of the Residents' Freak Show album.
Which apparently is what we saw in the Residents. We saw one character that looked like that. Okay. So apparently this is like an interactive thing for an album. Alright, we already saw B1, so let's go B2. The Skeleton Dude.
One of the most famous of the human skeletons was J.W. Coffey. He began his career in 1884 as the Ohio Skeleton in the dime museums of Chicago, but quickly discovered the disadvantage of displaying a poorly insulated body during the Midwestern winter. Given such powerful stimulation, he soon had an idea that changed his entire career. The Ohio Skeleton became the Skeleton Dude, and Coffey, complete with tails, a monocle, cane, and valet, was not only warmer, he was a hit. His presentation as a debonair bachelor changed little after his marriage in the late 1890s, and his success spawned many imitators. His marriage produced one normal child. Coffey's performing weight was 72 pounds.
Is that a dog or a cat? Is that a dog or a cat? I think it was a dog, but I'm not sure. I can't tell if that was a dog or a cat. Some of these pictures aren't great. I make the assumption that all of these pictures are real, but I don't know that for a fact either. Four-legged woman.
Myrtle Corbin was born in Tennessee in 1868 and was first exhibited at the age of 13. Her outstanding feature was the lower body of a parasitic twin, which resulted in an additional pair of underdeveloped legs that dangled down between her own normal lower limbs. She received an enormous amount of attention from the physicians and scientists, since the study of teratology, a quasi-scientific term which dealt with the classification of freaks of nature, was quite fashionable at that time. This attention and the resulting popularity caused the creation of many phony four-legged women who were also exhibited around the time of Myrtle's career. She married in 1882 and had 5 children, with 3 reportedly coming from her body and 2 from the twins, but this story has not been substantiated.
All right. That's weird. It apparently it was the style at the time. Bobby Cork.
Bobby Cork was a half and half. The left side of his body appeared to be female, while the right side was seemingly masculine. He was very successful, although the legitimacy of his act was never determined. He died of food poisoning.
Food poisoning? That was a pretty short one. Died of food poisoning. I assume it was like he didn't, like somebody didn't poison him. He ate bad food and died. Or they ate bad food and died. Alright. B5.
The Del Rio midgets were unusual in that all 3 were born to the same normal parents, who also had other normal children. Paul was 23 inches tall, while his 2 sisters, Trinidad and Dolores, were 2 inches taller. They toured America in the 1930s with the Johnny J. Jones shows.
Alright. B6.
France's most famous bearded lady, Christine DeLay, did not embark upon her show business career until she was 63 years old. From that time until her death 13 years later, her celebrity grew to such stature that the entire country mourned her passing in 1939. Born in a small village in March 1865, she had married at 20 and went to a local barber every morning before working with her husband in their small cafe. A bet with a customer caused her to grow her first beard. Christine started touring after her husband died in 1926.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, food poisoning is not can definitely be fatal. I just, when they say food poisoning, it makes me wonder, like, what was it? I assume it was natural. Like, I'm not natural, you know. It was accidental food poisoning, I guess.
Celesta Geyer, known by the stage name of Dolly Dimples, was a fat lady with a remarkable story. She was born in Ohio in 1901 and soon, due to an uncontrollable love for food, found herself literally unable to fit into normal society. After several years of ill-fitting doors, chairs, desks, turnstiles, etc., accompanied by the ridicule of students and co-workers, Celesta finally found the solution to her problems while attending a carnival with her husband Frank in 1927. Her 500 pounds of talent was self-evident, so the manager of the sideshow hired her on the spot. Success soon brought her a $300 per day salary. With her newly required resources, Dolly could afford a custom-built home in Florida featuring reinforced concrete floors, extra-large steel frame furniture, and overly wide doors. Dolly's weight continued to grow, but eventually her swelling size brought trouble. With a failing heart, breathing problems, and legs that could no longer support her bulk, Dolly Dimples was rushed to the hospital where she was given the message, "Diet or die." Diet she did, and within 14 months had lost over 400 pounds. Undaunted by the loss of her career as a fat lady, Dolly Dimples then became Madame Celeste, the fortune teller. In 1967, with her weight down to 110 pounds, her memoirs, entitled How I Lost 500 Pounds, were published, and she launched herself on one final career, lecturing on weight control.
That's interesting. And, I forget what I was going to say now. I don't think it's going to come back to me. I think I lost it. Oh, yeah, I remember. $300 a day. I mean, $300 a day. That's a no joke amount of money. Sabriel redeems Charlie gets a treat. Okay, we'll do that after B. We'll do that after B. B8.
Dolletta, a
We're gonna
freak show
keep going.
attraction from the early 1900s, was primarily known as the smallest mother on medical record. All three of her children were advertised as having been born by the hazardous cesarean operation. Eventually, she also came to be known as the smallest grandmother on medical record.
Okay. And then we got the indescribable. Okay.
History records little of the life and career of John Duggs, appropriately billed as the indescribable. Nevertheless, the residents found John's condition so unique and his sense of personal dignity so great that Freak Show's collection of historical human oddities would have been incomplete without him. John was exhibited in the late 1890s.
Alright, let's click this button. So now we're on C. We got D, E, F, G, H, and I. Man with 3 eyes. Sounds interesting.
After painting an extra eye into a deep crease in his forehead, Bill Dirks took advantage of a severe cleft palate and 2 noses by promoting himself as the man with 3 eyes. He was happily married to Mildred D. Dirks, an alligator-skinned woman, for 18 years until he died in 1975. Bill was also known to possess a dark sense of humor about his appearance.
So he didn't actually have 3 eyes? He didn't actually have 3 eyes. That's what I heard. Not 3 eyes. C2.
Jack Earl, born as Jacob Ehrlich in El Paso, Texas in 1906, entered show business in an unusual way. As a college student, he went to the Barnum and Bailey Circus, and soon after he entered the sideshow tent to see the giant Jim Tarver. It became apparent that the world's tallest man was several inches shorter than Jack Earl. Never one to pass up an opportunity, Clyde Ingalls, the well-known manager of the show, hired the tall student immediately. Over 8 feet tall, Jack became a circus star and also appeared in numerous films during a 20-year career. But he left show business after a serious illness in 1940. He spent the last 12 years of his life as the world's largest traveling salesman, driving from town to town in his customized Ford sedan, which he drove from the back seat. He was killed in an automobile accident in 1952.
See, this is interesting info. Like, it's interesting. He had a custom car that he drove from the back seat. Unfortunately, he was also killed in a car accident. I don't know how that happened, but
Johnny Eck, born in Baltimore in 1911, was a half-man with a whole twin brother. Easily the best of the disabled actors to appear in the movie Freaks, Johnny, whose real name was John Eckert, was also accomplished as a painter, band leader, and gymnast. In addition to his musical and acrobatic skills, Johnny also entertained his sideshow audience with a collection of miniature model planes and boats. Together with his twin brother, Johnny allegedly produced a sawing in half trick that was so convincing it was only performed in public once. He always appeared in formal attire.
Okay. In a movie.
Born in Lafayette, Indiana in 1877, Happy Jack Eckert was unusually healthy for a man of his size and reached the relatively old age of 62. Weighing 19 pounds at birth and 265 pounds by the age of 10, Jack was always huge. His greatest weight was 739 pounds, centering in a waist that measured 87 inches. Reportedly, his stomach hung nearly to his knees. Happy Jack died from injuries resulting from an auto accident in 1939.
Okay. I don't know why he was naked, but alright.
Echo and Eco were Negro albino brothers from Louisiana named Willie and George. Promoted as ambassadors for Mars, they were supposedly discovered near the remains of their spaceship in the Mojave Desert. According to Joseph Hilton, their handlers, Echo and Eco were not very bright and often hid food beneath their clothing.
Okay.
Flip, whose real name is slipped between the pages of freak show history, was the world's only saxophone-playing frog boy. Little is known of his career other than that he toured with a Hagenbeck-Wallace circus sideshow in the 1930s and that his feet were so small that he had to hop to get from place to place.
Okay. Margaret and Mary Gibb.
The Gibb sisters were Siamese twins that were joined at the buttocks. As with many pairs of attached
What?
twins, their personalities were very different. Mary was overweight and easygoing, while Margaret was a thin and high-strung worrier. For a while, they did a song and dance act as part of their sideshow routine, but eventually left show business to open a gift shop in their hometown of Holyoke, Massachusetts. They closed the shop and retired in 1949. It is notable that doctors informed the sisters at an early age that it was possible to separate them in a fairly simple surgical procedure, but they refused. In 1966, it was discovered that Margaret had cancer and the possibility of separation was brought up again, but the sisters still refused. They died within 2 minutes of each other, June 1967, at the age of 54.
Alright. We're making our way through this.
Little is known of Ella Harper, the Camel Girl, other than the statement she wrote on the back of a photograph taken by Charles Eisenman in New York in 1886. I'm called the Camel Girl because my knees turn backwards. I can walk best on my hands and feet as you see me in this picture. I have traveled considerably in the show business for the past 4 years, and now, this is 1886, I now intend to quit show business and go to school and fit myself for another occupation. At the time of the photograph, she was 13 years old.
That's pretty much the only information, apparently. Alright. Daisy and Violet Hilton. Alright. Indices.
Born in Brighton, England in 1908, the Hilton sisters were Siamese twins joined at the buttocks. Rejected and probably sold by their mother to her midwife, Mary Hilton, whom they were forced to call Aunt. They were shamelessly exploited from the ages of 4 to 24. At that time, they took their aunt to court and successfully broke their contract. Singularly uncharismatic, they learned to play the violin, saxophone, piano, and clarinet, as it was obvious that simply being Siamese twins was not enough to secure the attention of an audience. However, the formula proved successful, and the twins were earning $5,000 per week in the mid-1930s, and even made 2 films, freaks, and chained for life. They were much less successful at managing their finances, and their personal affairs were often the subject of headlines and gossip columns. After their marriage license applications were rejected by over 40 states, the twins' most celebrated affair ended in 1936 with Violet's marriage to dancer James Moore in front of 100,000 people at the Texas Centennial Exposition. Unfortunately, the marriage only lasted a few weeks. Daisy married another dancer, Harold S. Stepp, in 1941, but that union was even less successful, lasting only 10 days. They eventually found themselves selling produce in a small supermarket in Charlotte, North Carolina, and when they didn't show up for work after an absence of several days, they were found dead from flu complications in their apartment on January 6, 1969.
Flu complications. Flu complications. They had an evil stepmother, which they successfully sued in court. I mean, that's one of those sad stories that, like, has an up. That gets better. I mean, they died of flu complications, but they were making $5,000 a week. But apparently they weren't good at managing their finances, so that's not good either. I mean, they were probably spending all that money on something, but still. Alright, we're on the D's now. D1.
Weighing 1,069 pounds at his peak, Robert Earl Hughes made a spectacularly legitimate claim to the title of world's fattest man. He could further substantiate that claim with a circumference measuring 124 inches. His professional life was spent in a specially built trailer in which he was exhibited and moved from town to town. His career started as his weight approached 400 pounds. At the age of 10, passed 700 pounds before he was 20. Born in Illinois on June 4, 1926, he only lived to the age of 32 and died in his trailer of uremia in Bremen, Indiana, in July of 1958. His coffin, often referred to as a piano case, was over 7 feet long, 4.5 feet wide, and 3 feet deep.
Okay. Alright. We're gonna keep going here. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep learning facts. Or at least what they're I think they're trying to present this information as factually accurate as possible. I feel like that's what's going on. This is like an encyclopedia. This is like, you know, you get the Microsoft like encyclopedia, whatever it was called. I forget what it was called. But this is its own encyclopedia. Right? Because it was 1994. And not everybody had access to the internet. And even this stuff probably wasn't on the internet. It's probably on the internet now. You might be able to look up all this information right now. But at the time, I'm guessing this information was really hard to come by. You didn't have access to the internet. So you needed an interactive CD-ROM to tell you all this stuff.
As a predecessor, and according to some reports, father of Jojo the dog-faced boy, Adrian Yedichev was one of the first wolf men. A Russian, Adrian was first exhibited with his small son, a miniature version of the father, in Paris in 1873. Their world tours were highly successful, but Adrian was said to have spent all his earnings attempting to save what he considered to be the damned souls of himself and his son. He died at the age of 59.
You might have been able to find it on Usenet, that's true. It may have been there, but a lot of people didn't have access to it. It did kind of look like Chewbacca, yeah.
A Russian whose real name was Fedor Yefechu, Jojo's remarkable talent was a face that profusely sprouted hair from every pore. He was brought to London in 1884 by Charles Reynolds and became a huge success at the age of 14. Soon he made it to America, where he was one of P.T. Barnum's star attractions. Quiet, intelligent, multilinguistic, he created only one problem from Barnum. He considered himself too sophisticated to growl and bark at the audience. Jojo died at the age of 33 from pneumonia on January 30th, 1903.
I wonder if that's where inspiration from Chewbacca came from. I really don't know. I mean, it looks quite similar to Chewbacca in the head, you know? I mean, it really does. E4.
Annie Jones, a bearded lady, was first exhibited by P.T. Barnum in 1866, when she was a bearded infant only 12 months old. Her life lasted only 37 years, but during that time she was married twice and met the Tsar of Russia, the Emperor of Germany, and the King of Italy while touring as a freak, the only life she knew. She married her first husband, Richard Elliott, a sideshow talker, at the age of 16, and another showman, William Donovan, 15 years later. Her sense of feminine style and grace, along with a soft, lovely face, was said to totally belie her hirsute appearance. She died a bearded widow in her mother's arms in 1902.
Wait, when was that? That was Annie Jones, so we're on D5. You didn't know how much this was lacking as an adventure game. I didn't either. I mean, I read it was short, but I didn't realize it was mainly just an encyclopedia of facts, I guess.
One of the better-known half-and-halves, or half-man and half-woman, was Josephine Joseph, who toured America in the 1920s and 30s. She was immortalized by an appearance in Todd Browning's well-known film treatment of the sideshow world, Freaks.
Yeah, lots to learn, no question. We're educating ourselves.
Skin disease as a creator of Freaks has often been noted, but never has there been a more obvious example than the so-called naughty man. His pathos easily exceeded a brief career. He was exhibited during the 1940s.
Very little information there. Maybe after we do this, we can go into the non-admittance
child of his
area.
Russian mother, Nikolai Kobalkov's life might have gone entirely unnoticed if he had not been born limbless. Initially referred to as a human blob, he eventually became the most famous of all the human torsos. Kobalkov was born in Troitsk, Siberia, in 1853 and learned to write at an early age by holding a pen between his chin and his only appendage, a short stump that protruded from his right shoulder. After 2 years as a bookkeeper, his show business career started in St. Petersburg in 1871. Having learned to draw, paint, thread a needle, and load a pistol with his stump, he was an immediate success and went on to even greater popularity when he added a series of spectacular escapes to his act. He met Anna Wilfert, his future wife, while on tour in Vienna in 1875. A year later, they were married in a most memorable ceremony in Budapest. Anna, in a long white gown, carried Nikolai down the aisle and placed him on a cushion at the altar, after which he placed the ring on her finger with his teeth. He kept his ring in a small leather pouch around his neck. The first of their 11 children was born during the following year. Kobalkov saw the entertainment potential of the motion picture camera at a remarkably early time and successfully used it to further his fortunes. He died in 1933 at the age of 80.
80? He lived to 80. Wow! That's amazing. You had a armless painter in your town? Famous locally? I mean, I think there's a lot of astounding, just interesting things. I mean, that this kind of highlights. It just kind of highlights how, like, we as a society try to normalize everything and just assume that everything, is, normal. Like, it's normal, and our definition of normal versus abnormal is probably maybe not as correct as we think it is in some cases.
Leo was an extreme example of the freak genre known as the human pincushion. Originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Leo pounded 40-pound nails into his nose and bent them with a hammer. The inability to feel pain, along with an unhealthy love of exhibitionism, were the primary factors that allowed Leo to become so successful at self-mutilation. He exhibited himself during the 1950s.
Okay. Yeah, you're surprised and amazed that biology can work that way. I mean, yeah, I mean it's that we as a society tend to take people who don't conform to the norm and take them out of the public view, and it's kind of sad. And then we just think that everything is normal and nothing behaves and we learn the basics of everything in our schools, and we don't understand that that's not the reality of how things really work, which is kind of weird to think about, but it's kind of true.
Cuckoo, the bird girl, fit the category of freak show performers known as the self-made freak. Possessor of no other unique qualities than a funny face and an outrageous imagination, Cuckoo still managed to fashion a career by wearing a ridiculous costume and oddly chirping as she hopped from place to place. She appeared in the movie Freaks and toured with the Ringling Brothers during the 1930s.
That's funny. All right, now we're on E. That means we're at the halfway point. Yeah.
First exhibited at the age of 7, Crow, a Laotian, was accepted for years as Darwin's missing link. She arrived in London in 1855 and, since she displayed a certain simian characteristic, such as protruding lips, highly prehensile toes, and a body covered with hair, the Darwinian connection was easy to accept. Despite her appearance, Crow was known as an intelligent woman who spoke several languages. She became a star with the Barnum and Bailey Circus and stayed in show business until her death in 1926.
And then there's the lady that wears funny costumes and chirps like and chirps like a bird.
Lalu's brief but spectacular career featured a parasitic twin whose entire body extruded like a suckling calf from his chest, with only the head remaining unexposed inside Lalu's body. He was the second of 4 children and was reportedly born in Oudh, India, in 1874. The twin was always dressed as a girl when Lalu was erroneously exhibited as a brother and sister monstrosity, an error which at times could be detected by the twins' noticeable and frequent erections. While Lalu could feel things that touched the brother's body, he had no control over it, as evidenced by its obvious urinations. He married a woman from Philadelphia in 1894 and was happily married for several years. Shortly after accepting a lucrative offer to perform in Mexico, he was killed in a train accident in 1905.
That's something.
Tiny Lavanda was a legless dwarf whose feet were attached directly to her body. Only 15 inches tall and weighing 22 pounds, she was married to a clown dwarf named Alva Evans, who pushed Tiny around in a very small wheelchair. She gave birth in 1951, but the child died within a few hours.
Okay.
Born in Syracuse, Sicily in 1889, Frank Lentini not only had 3 legs, but he also had 4 feet, including a small atrophied foot that stuck out near the knee of his 3rd leg. The leg joined his torso at the base of his spine, and all of his legs were different lengths. His odd collection of anatomical appendages also included 16 toes and 2 complete sets of genitals. After being rejected by his parents, he was raised by an aunt and went into show business at an early age. After coming to America in 1898, he quickly became the star attraction. Frank eventually ran his own show and for several years was the acknowledged King of Freaks. In 1952, he retired to Florida with his wife and 4 children. He died in 1966.
Lots of extra appendages. Okay. Got it. Alright. Now we got E5. The 3-legged man. Yeah, come up with a better name than the 3-legged man. Yeah. Yeah, right? I mean, I think that was when that was the most obvious thing. All right.
Jean Libera, like Betty Lou Williams, was one of the more famous possessors of a parasite, or underdeveloped and attached twin. Perhaps as a promotional device, Jean always referred to his twin as Jacques, and indeed, Jacques was much more perfectly developed than most parasitic twins, complete with fingernails and a small head embedded in Jean's chest. The 4th of 13 children, Jean was born in Rome, Italy in 1884, and was exhibited with great financial success by Barnum and Bailey, as well as other traveling shows. He was known to be fairly uninhibited about his condition and often went out at night with a large cape covering his body of his twin. Jean was married and fathered 4 normal children before retiring back to Rome at the age of 52. He died in 1946.
All right. That was the man with 2 bodies. So now we're on E6. Chelsea's the
As
twin.
humanity's link to the king of the jungle, Lionel made a solid claim. With the exceptions of the soles of his feet and the palm of his hands, his body was completely covered with a luxuriant growth of long and silky hair. Lionel was born in Poland as Stefan Bibrowski in 1890 and soon came to America to be exhibited by P.T. Barnum. Supposedly, the cause of his extraordinary hair growth was a frightening encounter received by his mother while Lionel was still in the womb. After a very successful career, he died in Berlin in 1931.
Good story. Good story. All right. Then we got the rubber-skinned man.
Arthur Luce is another amazing human oddity about whom little is known. Referred to as the rubber-skinned man, his unique deformity was a skin disease that resulted in voluptuous folds of skin that hung from his neck and lower jaw down to an area of his abdomen slightly above his navel. Arthur was featured at the Believe It or Not show at the Chicago World's Fair in 1933.
Okay. E8. Yeah, I know, right?
Fedor Machinov, the Russian giant, was said to be nearly 9 feet tall, but due to a fear of doctors, refused to allow himself to be measured or examined. Machinov was born in Vitebsk in 1881 and was of normal height until he reached the age of 5. Most giants use some sort of costume to exaggerate their size, and Machnov, often appearing in Cossack costume, with high boots and tall fur-covered hat, was no exception. It was also said that due to compression of his spine, he was 2 inches taller after resting for a few days. He died in October 1905.
All right. Slim Jim Malone.
Milton Malone, or Slim Jim Malone as he was known on stage, was a popular human skeleton in the 1940s.
I was thinking the
According
same
to his
thing.
official biography, he weighed 68 pounds for 53 years due to an attack of scarlet fever at the age of 8. He was 5.5 feet tall.
All right, that's ease. We got 4 more pages, maybe. I don't know if the last one has full, but we're getting there. And then we're gonna see what else we can do in this game, and then we will probably do a vote. So stick around for that. And also, it's Taco Tuesday, so I love tacos!
Grace
Exclamation point! I love
McDaniels,
tacos.
the mule-faced woman, got started in show business by entering the Ugliest Woman in the World contest. With a large twisted nose, painfully distorted teeth, and bulbous mule-like lips, all grotesquely stuck to a face the color of raw liver, she won with ease. Grace was said to be both inexplicably attractive to men and the possessor of a pleasant and cheerful disposition. Her only son was of normal appearance and acted as her manager until her death in 1958. Grace was seen and never forgotten by one of the residents at the Louisiana State Fair in 1957.
All right.
Perhaps the most celebrated and certainly the most grotesque freak of all was John Merrick of England, known as the Elephant Man. Merrick's affliction, Proteus syndrome, rendered his appearance as so bizarre and disturbing that it was impossible for him to appear in public without a large veiled hat and long cloak that hid him completely. The best description of Merrick comes directly from the writings of Dr. Frederick Treves, a friend and physician who cared for Merrick the last 5 years of his life. The most striking feature about him was his enormous and misshapen head. From the brow there projected a huge bony mass like a loaf, while from the back of the head hung a bag of spongy, fungus-looking skin, the surface of which was comparable to a brown cauliflower. The circumference of the head was no less than that of a man's waist. From the upper jaw there projected another mass of bone. It protruded from the mouth like a pink stump, turning the upper lip inside out and making the mouth a mere slobbering aperture. The text goes on to describe the rest of his body, which was equally deformed, with the exception of a perfectly formed penis and left arm. Nothing is known of Merrick's early life, other than that he was abandoned by his mother and exhibited in one pathetic situation after another, until after being deserted by his last manager in 1886, he was able to contact Dr. Treves, who had given Merrick his card 2 years earlier. Under the care of Dr. Treves and isolated from the cruel stares and horrified reactions of the public, Merrick described the next 5 years as the only happy time of his life. He was found dead at the age of 27, having apparently suffocated in his sleep when his massive skull twisted into an awkward position and dislocated his neck. His only regret was said to be the lack of experience with romantic love.
It is pretty terrible. I agree, Brave Star. I mean, you know, as I guess as bad as you can hear, like, I mean, it became a business. Like, it actually became a way to make money, and I think in a lot of cases it was in a lot of cases freak shows, as weird as it was, saved people from, like, bad circumstances. I don't know how to. I guess I don't. I'm not super educated on it, but I'm educating myself now, I guess. I've been looking some stuff up because it still happens today, and a lot of times it still happens. A lot of this stuff still happens today, and you still have people with some of these issues, and I can't imagine they're treated much better today. And yeah, back in the 1800s and the early 1900s, there was a lot of money in this type of business, and they paid the people well. I mean, it's not like a lot of when they were like Barnum. I mean, he may have been a garbage human being, and he may not have done a lot of great things, but he didn't necessarily exploit everybody and not pay them for it. These people were doing it and getting paid pretty well. You see that a lot of these people got they got rich and owned property, and things like that. So there was definitely money in it. So
A charming dwarf with misshapen hands and feet, Miss Mignon was still performing in the 1950s and 60s. Her short legs together with her deformed feet caused her to waddle like a penguin. She heightened the effect by wearing a long black cape.
The Man with Two Faces.
Robert Milwin, the Man with Two Faces, had a very brief freak show career. His only known appearance was at the Trenton State Fair in New Jersey in 1954. The length of his career and the unique quality of his deformity have led to the speculation that his appearance may have been faked. But, at this time, little documentation of his existence has survived, other than a few photographs.
Maybe fake. Maybe fake.
Mortado, the human fountain, created his dramatic effect by spraying jets of water through holes that he had punctured in his hands and feet. He was a well-known performer at Coney Island in the 1930s, and when not performing, Mortado had to keep wooden pegs in the holes to stop the flesh from growing back together. His popularity was not long-lived.
Okay, that sounds weird. So, was that just something that he did? Was that something that he did? Just put some holes through his hands and feet and sprayed water through them to make him be a fountain? That's something.
Little is known of the brief career of Mrs. Banks, the she-bear, who first appeared in New York in 1880. Her bear-like appearance was due to a strange affliction, which was characterized by hands that were directly connected to her elbows and feet which attached to her knees. The effect was heightened by the fact that, when on stage, she wore a fur suit as she lumbered about on all fours. She married in 1896 and soon retired from show business to take care of her son.
Okay.
The stylized presentation of human oddities as aristocrats, of royal blood, or as military leaders was one of the great freak show traditions. Prince Nikolai, the Russian prince, whose history included convincing the Tsar to free his father from mines in Siberia, perfectly fit this exaggerated mode of presentation. He was also called the smallest man who ever lived, and at the height of 18 inches and weight of 15 pounds, his case was well taken.
Okay. Another frog person.
Carl Norwood was born with a unique double-jointedness of both the elbows and knees. This unusual deformity allowed him to fold both his arms and legs behind him in a way that caused him to greatly resemble a frog about to leap.
So he was double jointed, apparently. He had a lot of double joints. So it sounds like, Carl Norwood was very double jointed. It sounds like. Alright, F9. Last F.
The best known of the 20th century armless wonders, the beautiful Frances O'Connor was also featured in Todd Browning's classic film Freaks. She toured for several years with the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey sideshow, entertaining the audience by cutting and eating food, uncorking a bottle, pouring and drinking, and finally loading and shooting a rifle, all with her feet.
I didn't even realize until I mentioned it that she didn't have arms. I didn't realize she was holding that glass with her foot. Shooting a rifle? Hopefully not a rival. Hopefully a rifle, but, I guess you could shoot a rival with a rifle. Alright, we're on G now. G.
The great Olmi was reputed to be the son of an upper-class English family and a former major of World War I. In 1927, he decided to become one of the world's greatest human oddities. His tattooist, George Burchett, could only identify him as Major R, but did confirm that the original swirling designs came from the great Olmi himself, and that it took over 500 sittings to completely tattoo his entire body, including the face. At a time when tattooed men were losing their novelty, Olmi became a huge success. He joined Ripley's Believe It or Not show in 1938, eventually playing at the Auditorium in Broadway, and toured with the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Tattoos. That's a lot of tattoos. That probably would have hurt. But okay.
Julia Pastrana, the Gorilla Woman, was born in Mexico in 1832. Her thick beard, hair-covered body, and 2 rows of teeth in each jaw convinced Charles Darwin that she was the missing link between men and apes. Also known as the ugliest woman in the world, Julia was understandably not happy as a sideshow attraction, but her husband and manager, Theodore Lent, somehow convinced her to tour both Europe and America. She died shortly after giving birth to a child whose grotesque appearance was said to rival that of the mother. The child died shortly afterwards, and Lent had both bodies preserved and put on exhibition. Undaunted in his effort to exhibit a hairy woman, Lent then began a search for Julia's successor. With the discovery of the bearded Marie Bartels in Leipzig, his search proved fruitful, and after renaming her Zenora Pastrana, Lent soon married and exhibited Marie as Julia's sister. He died in 1884 of brain disease.
He, not her, sounds like a pretty garbage person. Just saying. That sounds like exploitation right there. Alright. We got G3 now.
Leonard Popeye Perry was one of the few freaks who had the ability to appear completely normal if he wished. His talent was the ability to pop his eyeballs approximately 1/2 inch forward from their normal positions, and he controlled this condition with such dexterity that he could quickly alternate the popping from one eye to the other. Popeye was a featured performer when the residents were roaming the midway of the Louisiana State Fair in the 1950s.
Not a sailor. Just pop-eyed. G4.
Pascual Pinon was born in Mexico with an extra head growing out of his forehead. Although generally regarded as a grift or a fake freak, It was also said that the additional head could see, as evidenced by the movement of its eyes following a person around a room. Supposedly, the mouth opened and closed, but eventually the appendage became lifeless.
I guess we'll never know. Maybe, I don't know. Will we ever know? Do we know? I don't know.
In order to heighten interest in an already fascinating subject, Pierre Mole was exhibited as having a parasitic cyster growing from his chest. Pierre Mole was born in 1888 and toured America several times between 1900 and 1915, when he finally returned to India.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like that. Alright. That was that one. G6. We're getting there.
As a circus sideshow performer, baby Ruth Ponico followed the footsteps of her mother, a former fat lady with the Ringling Brothers. She was born as Ruth Smith in Indiana in 1904 and eventually weighed 815 pounds. In one of the more celebrated incidents in freak show lore, Ruth fell through the floor of her sister's house and had to be removed by a crane. After surgery for a benign tumor on her thigh, her death came unexpectedly, as she became nauseated in the recovering room and, when no one was able to turn her over, she choked to death on her own vomit. Her husband weighed 130 pounds and sold balloons.
Okay. I think that last fact is interesting. Her husband sold balloons. Okay.
Frida Pushnik, with tiny stumps for arms and no legs at all, was exhibited as a human torso from the late 1930s through the mid-50s. The most memorable feature of her act consisted of 38-pound Frida pecking away at a typewriter keyboard with a pencil held between her teeth. She also sewed, crocheted, and applied her own makeup. She was taken care of by her mother and sister.
Okay. Alright. Caterpillar Man. Caterpillar Man.
One of the most famous of the human torsos, Prince Randian was born in Guyana, and he was brought to America in 1889 by P.T. Barnum and performed successfully for 45 years. Two of the more notable features of his acts were his ability to roll and smoke a cigarette and shave himself, all without the aid of arms or legs. His wife, Princess Sarah, was prominently featured in his performance, as were his 5 children. Prince Randian, crawling through the mud with a knife between his teeth and illuminated only by lightning, left a lasting image in the Todd Browning film Freaks. He died in 1952 at the age of 63.
A special razor? Like, how? I don't understand. Alright. G9.
The idea of exploiting human deformity is unsettling at best, but never more so than when children are involved. No better example exists than the sad-eyed innocence of Rose and Paul, the elephant-skinned children from Mexico. Victims of incurable skin disease, both were born of the same normal parents. They were exhibited in the late 1920s and 30s.
Alright. Alright, we got 2 more pages. We got H and I.
One of the stars of the film Freaks, Schlitzie was a male pinhead that always wore dresses because that made it easier for him to go to the toilet. After being in show business for 30 years, he was put in a state mental institution when his owner-manager died, but was eventually rescued by Sam Alexander. Schlitzie, who was often exhibited as Maggie, the last of the Aztecs, lived to be 80 years old and eventually died in California.
80. I mean, I guess that one has a somewhat of a happy ending. I mean, the fact that they were put in a mental institution is not good. Not good. I don't like the eventually either.
Born in Cincinnati, Ohio, Agnes Schmidt was afflicted with a condition that caused the flesh of her upper legs to become so loose and flabby that she could grasp the skin at mid-thigh and pull it up 15 to 18 inches towards her waist. She was known as the Rubber Skin Girl.
Okay. CeeLo, I guess.
CeeLo was a freak show performer from the 1930s whose hands joined directly to his shoulders. Also, his fingers were fused together, giving the appearance of seal-like flippers. During his act, he shaved himself, signed autographs, and sawed a board in half.
Okay. Peter Spanner. Are we learning? Are we learning today? You didn't know it was Learning Tuesday, did you? You didn't know it was Education Tuesday in addition to Taco Tuesday, but, you know, here we are.
Peter Spanner, from Augsburg, Germany, was afflicted with Ehlers-Danlos disease, a condition that made his skin so loose that he could grab the skin of his neck and pull it up above his eyes. He performed in the late 19th century. Known as the thinnest of the human skeletons, Isaac Sprague weighed but 52 pounds at the peak of his career. He was born on May 21, 1841 in Massachusetts, and grew normally until he was 9 years old. Then, at the age of 10, with no medical explanation, he rapidly began losing weight. His show business career began at the age of 16 when he went to a circus with his brother. The cashier noted his presence and went to the manager, who immediately made Isaac a lucrative offer to leave his job as a shoemaker's apprentice. He went on to be exhibited at Barnum's New American Museum and many other popular venues of the period.
He looks, the head looks photoshopped onto that body. I mean, I don't think it is, but it looks like it. The head does not look like it goes on that body, but I think it does. I know. It looks like just a normal head. I guess a normal head. I don't know a better way to say that. It doesn't look like it belongs to the body, I guess. Alright, 8-6.
In true freak show tradition, George Stahl, the Mexican wild man, was neither Mexican or wild. He was born in Kansas, not too bright, and possessed 5.5-inch fingernails. George was exhibited in the 1890s.
George had long fingernails. Okay.
History's most famous midget, Charles Stratton, was given the name of Tom Thumb by P.T. Barnum. Born in 1838 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, he weighed 9 pounds at birth, but stopped growing when he was 6 months old. Only 5 when he was discovered by Barnum, Stratton learned songs and dances to accompany his winning personality, then began a career that eventually allowed him to perform for Queen Victoria, King Louis Philippe of France, Queen Isabella of Spain, Abraham Lincoln, and many others. Extremely successful, Stratton also indulged passionate interest in both racehorses and yachts. His marriage to a midget woman named Lavinia Warren at Grace Church in New York in 1863 created a huge sensation that received 1 full page of coverage in the 8-page New York Times. He and his wife then embarked on another highly successful European tour as a couple. He died of a stroke on July 15, 1883.
Yeah, I know. How do you make money? Oh, I never clip my fingernails, and I dress weird. There you go. I don't know. Is that something that, like, if you don't clip your fingernails, like, ever, will they actually get that long? Is that a thing that would happen? Is it just a matter of not clipping your fingernails, or is it is there something that needs to happen for it to do that? I really don't know. They get long and weird? Okay. I feel like it would be difficult to, like, not accidentally just make them break them as well, you know? Alright, we're on H8.
The characteristic lobster hands, caused by the fusion of the two pairs of fingers on each hand, were a hereditary trait that was passed down through 5 generations of the Styles family. The family was so proud of and financially secure from its unique deformity that Grady Styles expressed great joy when his newborn daughter Emma displayed the ability to carry on the family tradition. Grady was performing as a single act on the $1 Million Midway at the Louisiana State Fair when he was seen by one of the residents during the 1950s.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Because I knew about that, but I didn't realize it was a hereditary thing that got passed down. That's interesting. That's interesting. I feel like a lot of these things aren't. I mean, obviously there's a recessive, like, gene somewhere, but it seems like that might have been more than that.
Born on July 4, 1875, in Turin, Italy, to a 19-year-old woman, Antonia Tocci, the brothers Tocci were an extraordinary example of conjoined twins. Each one had a head and 2 arms, but their torsos merged at the pelvis, resulting in 2 legs and 1 reproductive system, which was shared between them. Their obvious physical handicap was further impaired by the fact that each twin controlled one of their mutual legs, therefore making it impossible for them to walk. Also, their central arms were positioned in such a way as to render them useless. They were examined by the Royal Academy of Medicine in Turin when they were only a month old, and toured all the major cities of Europe at an early age. In 1881, the brothers were brought to America on tour, and after examination, were proclaimed by the American Scientific Society as the most remarkable double monster to reach maturity. With that type of publicity, they were soon earning several $1,000s a week. The twins had no real love of show business, though, and by 1897 had enough money to return to Italy and retire in a secluded villa near Venice. Not much more is known of them, except they married 2 sisters and died in 1940 at the age of 64.
64. That's interesting. Alright, we got the last page now. I mean, I don't know what to even say. I mean, they made like a lot of money. They retired, and they just retired. I mean, I thought it was weird that they said they couldn't walk, because even though each one controlled a different leg, I guess it would be difficult. I guess it's more of a matter of balance, isn't it? I mean, we'll find out if there's a game. I couldn't find a game, but maybe we just missed it.
Al was a giant, 8 foot 4.5 inches tall, and Jeannie, the world's only living half-girl, was born without legs. They met at the Dotson World Fair show in April 1936 and were married in September of the same year. Later, in 1941, they opened their own show with the James Straits Show. Al was born in New Jersey in 1918 and Jeannie was born in Indiana. They retired to Gibsonton, Florida in 1941 and opened the Giants Cafe there.
Wow. All right. We got a game called Educating Yourself.
Born in Woodstock, Canada in 1855, Charles Tripp began his freak show career with P.T. Barnum in New York at the age of 17. As an armless wonder, Tripp's performance consisted entirely of demonstrating to the audience all the normal activities he could perform exclusively with his feet.
Oh yeah, there
Carpentry,
is another
displayed his
game.
penmanship,
There is another
painted
Resident
portraits,
game.
drank tea, played cards, etc., all with remarkable speed and dexterity. A famous photo of Tripp and the legless wonder, Eli Bowen, on a bicycle built for two, was widely circulated around the turn of the century. Charles Tripp's highly successful career lasted over 50 years and took him around the world 3 times.
Years.
He died of pneumonia in 1939 at the age of 84.
84. 84. All right, we got. What's it called? Let me see if I can figure out what it's called. The other one's called The Resident's Bad Day Over the Midway. It looks like it is a little bit more of a game. Yeah, this one's way more of a game. The second Residence thing is more of a game than this one is. It says, you explore the world of a demented carnival midway by inhabiting, possessing its freakish denizens, and the story reveals itself as you leap between characters. So there you go. And there's definitely games involved in that one. All right, where were we? Charles Tripp. We're at I3. I3.
Born in Prussia in 1848, Karl Unthen transcended the limits of armlessness in ways achieved by no other. By the age of 6, he was writing and performing most of the normal activities of boys his age. And at 10, he decided to become a violinist. After 2 years of practice, his father was so impressed that he enrolled Karl in the music conservatory at Leipzig. By the time he graduated, his skill had reached the level of virtuoso, and it was not long before he caught the attention of Johann Strauss, with whom he played a series of concerts in Vienna in 1868. After successfully touring the concert stages of the world for several years, he added variety to his performances by learning to play trumpet and cornet, performing card tricks and giving demonstrations of marksmanship and swimming. Unthen married Antoni Brescia, a singer, in 1883 and continued to perform with her until World War I, when he volunteered for service at the age of 60. The Army enlisted him to help boost the morale of soldiers with amputated limbs. He died in 1929 at the age of 81.
Damn. Just damn. That's all I gotta say.
Jan van Albert, the
Impressive.
Dutch giant known as Lofty, toured America during the 1930s with a show called Would You Believe It? His claimed but undocumented height of 8 feet 6.5 inches would make him one of the tallest men who ever lived.
Undocumented. Speaking of the tallest man who ever lived, that's I5.
Eventually growing to a towering 8 foot 11 inches, Robert Wadlow was born in Alton, Illinois in 1918. His oncoming talent made itself apparent early, as he already weighed 50 pounds when he was only a year old and was 5'6" with a weight of 115 pounds by the age of 5. Contrary to the practices of most giants, who usually added a few inches to their height, Wadlow never objected to being measured. Steadfastly refusing to be categorized or exhibited as a freak for most of his life, Robert eventually came to realize that his dream to become a lawyer was impractical and was finally exhibited by the Ringling Brothers organization in 1937. Refusing to allow himself to be displayed in a sensationalized manner, he never became a major attraction and suffered through a brief career. A leg brace used to support his weight eventually created an irritation on his leg, and in 1940 he died from the resulting infection at the age of 22.
22. He died at 22. Man, I didn't think he looked older than 22 in that picture, I thought. Like, that surprises me. I don't know. It didn't seem like it, but I don't know what happened. All right, we got 4 more left. I-6.
Born to black sharecropper parents near Atlanta, Georgia in the early 1930s, Betty Lou Williams went on to become one of the most successful attractions in freak show history. The lower half of a parasitic twin protruded from her left side, and even though underdeveloped, it continued to grow at the same rate she did. The continued growth of the twin explained her enormous appetite, but not her huge hunger for love. Generous to a fault, she built an expensive home for her parents and paid for the education of several brothers and sisters, but fell prey to the charms of a gold-digging Lothario. He eventually rejected her for a more normal lover, leaving Betty to die of a broken heart at age 22.
See, that is a sad story right there. That is a sad story.
Skin disease, a significant influence and contributor to the institution of the freak show, was also responsible for the career of John H. Williams. John, an example of the freak genre referred to as alligator-skinned people, was married to a bearded lady and was said to have been a schoolmate of former presidential candidate Wendell Willkie. He toured America during the 1920s and 30s.
I mean, I don't know if died of a broken heart versus died with a broken heart. Did they say died of a broken heart or with a broken heart? I don't know. I didn't hear the exact wording of it. All right, we got 2 more left.
The smallest woman who ever lived, Lucia Zarate, was born in San Carlos, Mexico in 1864. Supposedly only 8 ounces in weight and 7 inches long at birth, she was just under 20 inches in height and weighed 5 pounds at the age of 17. Lucia first appeared in the United States when she was 12 years old and was very financially successful. She died in 1890 when her circus train stalled in a blizzard near Truckee, California, and she froze to death.
That sucks. That sucks. Ooh. Zip the missing link. This is the last one.
Also known as What Is It?, Zip was the most famous of the microcephalax or pinheads, with a career that lasted from 1860 to 1926. Zip was a black man named William Henry Johnson who was born around 1840 near Bound Brook, New Jersey. As the subject of several successful publicity stunts, he married a midget in a mock wedding at Madison Square Garden around the turn of the century and was given a widely covered birthday dinner referred to as the Feast of Freaks in 1914. The classic pinhead look of a shaved head with just a small tuft of hair at the top was originated by Johnson. Zip was in his 80s when he died of bronchitis on April 24, 1926. It was estimated that he was viewed by over 100 million people during his career.
80. Well, there you go. That's that. I mean, we've done all of them. We listened to all the clips and everything like that. There is no 0, so we can't listen to Ralph America. I don't know what that is. So I don't know if there's anything else to do. I mean, we can leave, I guess. We can try to go into this no admittance area. But we can't! We can now go there. There's more stuff to do! There's more stuff to do! We're not done yet! There's trailers we can visit. What? Let's check it out.
You can pick up your phone and talk directly with an established professional psychic in the privacy of your own home.
With 44 seconds to go in the opening quarter in
Praise the Lord, everybody.
3,200 or send check on money order for.
What in the hell are we doing? What am I looking at right now? That's all I can do.
Cleaner.
Right? I can't turn the page. There's no turning the page. Alright. Wait, we can look at the pictures. We can get closer looks. Okay. Alright. I don't know what I'm looking at right now, but I'm looking at something, and, yeah.
Welcome back to Maryland International Raceway and the International...
And I hear TV. Okay, I appear to be looking at wrestling. Or what I call wrestling.
Seemed that his eyes were empty under half-closed lids. Made it all the more disturbing knowing Benny heard a bump that looked like clods of dirt inside some sickly lung that barely peeked beneath his shirt and twitched like Toto's tongue. For 50 cents inside a tent adjacent to the rest, the weaker souls would hide their eyes while Benny bared his chest. He robbed the bump with oleo and little bits of meat and stroked the shape as it extended down toward his feet.
Okay. I don't know if this is from the album in question, but it might be. Alright, I'm gonna turn this channel. Alright, we're back to this. Okay. Alright, we're gonna leave here. I feel like there's nothing much to do here other than watch the TV. So we're gonna leave. And so you can notice that it's kind of a wrestling ring up there. No, I don't. Oh, I accidentally went forward. I meant to go back. What's this? Oh, we closed the door. Okay. Well, that was we're generous and we closed the door. All right. Okay, there's another one here. Let's check it out. It says Wanda. This is Wanda's trailer, I guess. We're like creeping on people, I guess. It's a worm. Oh, we got it. We got the worm. Oh no, we broke it. Holy crap, did we just find a game? I don't know. I can put it in the candle and Wanda cries, or this cries, or we can put it in here. I don't know. I don't think this is a game. I think this is just an interactive experience. Just saying. Alright, let's go this way. Keep going forward, keep going forward, keep going forward.
I love the soul I see inside her, but I just can't love her.
What? Oh, we found a Bible? Their worms shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorrence unto all flesh. My flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dirt. I have said to the worm, thou art my mother and my sister. Okay. It's a bunch of passages about worms. Okay. Cool. Worms. Worms, worms, worms. Whoa, what's this?
Sneering at a leering lady as she stares and squirms at Wanda.
Oh, I thought I was gonna do something there. I thought I could do stuff. I thought there was some interaction with this, but it's just to stop it. Alright, this is yet another song, I believe.
Sneering at a leering lady as she stares and squirms at Wanda with her saintly smile and living vague of words. I like to watch their faces fall as we disgust and shame. Seeking suckers is my game, no longer lion taming.
Alright. Alright. Hey, it's Wanda, I think. That head seems too big, though. Alright. Let's head out, I guess. Maybe. Or we could see that there's a bunch of worms in the fridge. We could do that. It's very weird. I mean, I don't know what I expected. In fact, I don't know what you expected, Sabriel. I think you picked this one, right? What's this? It's a note.
Dear Sister Solace, thank you for guiding me on a tour of the mission. The positive effects of your efforts with the infirm and debilitated have inspired my every waking moment since the conclusion of our pleasant but all too brief encounter. If you're open to the possibility of another meeting, please expect me to pursue a suitable arrangement as soon as my schedule allows. The earnest nature of your endeavor will surely fuel and fill my prayers until I see you again. By the grace of God, I remain, Father Philip O'Malley.
I mean, there we go. We just got some story. Right there. That was story. I don't know if that was like a real letter that actually existed or what. You know, there's nothing wrong with worms. I just want to say that right now. Worms are good. Worms do very good things. And you probably shouldn't eat them. Just saying. Worms do good things. Alright, what's this one?
What you want? Get out of there.
You get out of here. If I hit that button, it makes cigarette butts show up on the floor. Okay. Hey, it's this guy. Oh. Alright. I wonder what kind of drugs induced this game. Like, seriously. I have no question there were drugs involved. I just don't know what kind. You know? This one seems to be shut. Keep out. Yeah, we're not keeping out. We're going in. Keep out signs don't keep us out. Are we gonna get eaten by an alligator? Oh no! Hey, it's the head. Boop 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 bam 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 bam. Alright. I guess we're done here. Back up again. It looks like a dead bird. A dead bird's in that. Oh, here we go. Harry the Head. Hey, Morton. We're almost done with this. this game. It's not really much of a game. It's more of a experience. And we're almost done with it. Yeah, it's not really a game. It's more like it's like this is like an interactive experience. Like we're getting these tunes. Ooh, look at this art. It's art. It's art. Ooh. The heck did we just find? What? We what did we just find? Hey, Charlene, ain't that weird string bag lady? Hey, Charlene, ain't that the weird string bag lady? You're right, Lester Joe. That's her, all right. And still sticking out like a June bug on a baby's butt. Look, she done brought that string bag with her, too. What she got in that bag? Now, don't you be looking at her, little Billy Bob, or you'll be having bad dreams for a week. Oh, my lord, it looks like... No, it can't be. Don't look, little Bobby. It can't be. Harry's dead, ain't he? Why, it ain't nothing but a big old melon. Now, you look the other way, little Billy Bob. Look at them eyes. I know she's crazy and what she's been doing, parading around here with that string bag. You know, for a minute, I thought it was Harry. Sometimes I think about them together like, God, it makes me sick to my stomach. She shouldn't ought be allowed among decent folks, if you ask me. I heard tell the little freak wanted to live forever, huh? I guess he got his way. Oh, crap. I accidentally pushed the button. Oh, wait, no I didn't. I seen him at a freak show one time. Yeah, me too. Seems like it must have been at least 5 years ago. One time was enough for me. I guess she must have seen him there too. I ain't never gonna forget that show. I remember the one guy with this huge, disgusting lump just sort of growing straight out of his chest, and after a while he started bouncing it around. I laughed till I thought I was gonna throw up. Yeah, I remember, and there was this jelly kind of thing. I don't know if it was a human being or what, just kind of flesh pile that shook around with these two eyeballs staring out. Yeah, and a human mole and this worm-sucking lady that was too damn happy. Yeah, I bet she could make her hammer hum. Hum. Ha ha ha. Your hammer hum. Ha ha ha. Now you watch your mouth, Lester Joe. There's children present. Yes, ma'am. And there was one guy wearing a tuxedo and a top hat. And I swear he was a giant eyeball instead of a head. Oh, come on, Lester Joe. I swear. And he was looking straight at me. And there was, and there was this head. Harry the Head. I ain't never seen nothing else like Harry. It was like kind of disgusting and pitiful, like at the same time. Yeah, I was just sitting up and kind of stool. A thing like that shouldn't have been allowed a lot to live. Should have been strangled at birth, except it didn't have no throat, I guess. And it was real nasty. So what are you staring at, you imbecilic sewer scum? You scap-suck a bag of bacon for brains? Who do you think you are, huh? You're the freaks, not me. I guess she must have been there and seen him like that too. And old Jim Crocker said he seen her walking home alone late that night. when he closed up his store, only she wasn't alone, was she? She had Harry with her. This is like a story right here. She lived way up in the little shack on the way to Cobb's Bayou. I seen the place once myself. She sure wouldn't from around here. Wasn't from around here. Somebody said she talked real funny like she was from overseas someplace, but I can't say as I ever heard her myself. What was you doing over at Cobb's Bayou, Lester Joe? Going frog gigging, I guess. Anyway, that's where she lived, all right. And when that tent show packed up and left town, Harry the Head wouldn't with it no more. Whoa. That woman must have been deranged. Yeah, I reckon you're right, living by herself with that thing. I guess she must have been really needing somebody. Only this thing was, she wound up with somebody that didn't have no body, haw. I guess she must have loved him. Grisella, my vapid and brainless floozy, kindly fetch me my brushes. I wish to paint. And then there was painting. Then one day she turned up at Jim Crocker's store and had a bundle of them clothes she made to scratch a living, like a roll of paintings she said was made by a friend, and she was carrying that string bag. Old Lady Crocker said, I'll take the clothes for as usual, but I ain't got no use for them paintings. You ought to know, folks hereabouts aren't interested in no fancy kind of art stuff. As soon as the old lady shut up, that weird woman swung her string bag right up into the counter in front of Miss Crocker, and there was that horrible head staring straight out of it. And then it commenced to yelling, How dare you insult my art, you vile breath receptacle for drool? The magnificence of my art will live on long after the worms have peed on the pockmarks of your putrid remains, while I shall live forever! Well, I'll tell you, old Jim came out of the back room like he was on fire, and quick as lightning, he had that big scatter gun pointed at the woman's head, and he told her to take that disgusting thing in the string bag and get the hell out of his store. Well, the woman dropped everything except the string bag and did just what he said, and that was the next to last time anybody ever seen her. Till today. That's right, Lester Joe. Okay. And that's the last time Harry the Head was seen alive. I've grown weary of this place, Griselda. The cretinous corn ponds who inhabit this haven for Hicks cannot appreciate my genius. And of course, neither can you, my fragrant but bedded flower. How could you, your sense of self-dignity grovels and wallows infinitely beneath even the mere concept of measurement? Do you hear me, my insipid little slattern, who you truly troubled trollop? Do you hate yourself so much that you'll actually consume an unlimited amount of abuse from a pitiful, spoiled, spite-spitting, bodiless human head? Come here, you smear of slime slug. Come here and shut up, you stupid little man. Some say she poisoned his food. Some say she just left him there on the floor and he died of neglect or starvation. No, don't go! Some say he died of a broken heart. He didn't have a heart. Just want to say that right now. He was ahead. Angels, angels for you, my dearest darling. Now, please help me up and cradle me in your arms again. Please help me up, my darling. Except the little fart didn't have no heart, because he didn't have no body. Which is what I said. Ha ha ha. My love, my angel, please help me. Maybe that's what was wrong with him right from the start. Please, he didn't have a heart. It is the food poisoning story we talked about. Anyway, she did show up again not so long ago, and she walked right down this very street. That's right. Only this time she was carrying this big bottle, because they tell me Harry the Head was inside, all pickled up in formaldehyde. She done walked right past here and never said a word. She says that bottle wound up in a kind of museum in Tallahassee, or Tuscaloosa, or some other place. So I guess he didn't get to live forever after all. Well, I know that what I think. I think that bottle's still out there in that shack down by Cobb's Bayou. Here's your chance, Lester Joe. Why don't you just ask her? No, sir, no sirree, Bobtail. I ain't never spoke to that woman, and I ain't gonna start now, and I don't reckon nobody else in this town will neither. Mama, mama. What you want, little Bobby Bill? What's she gonna do with that big old melon, mama? Well, I guess she's gonna eat it, you silly little thing. I mean, this is not a game. This is we kind of determined that, Morton. This isn't really much of a game. I mean, it's an interactive experience. It's an interactive experience, which we're almost done with. We got the eye place, and I think that might be it. It's an interactive experience. I think this might be the last place that we can go. I think this might be it. This might be it. Finkelroy adds a procession in cavalry to the incentive queue. That sounds awesome. Oh, we got music and video. And merchandise. What? Performance. Let's click merchandise and see what that does. Buy or die. Alright, well, I know who Ralph America is now. We figured that one out. Other stuff. Oh, we can get a comic book. We can get a poster, a watch, some postcards, Laserdisc, a t-shirt. Wow. Look at that. Get it from the catalog. Book. Jewelry. Some jewelry. Ching ching. Alright. A book. Ching ching. Well, look at all this music. Yeah, here's this is the cover art for the this album.
The commercial album, Mark of the Mole. You can shoot God in.
They apparently had a lot of stuff. Look at that. Look at all the stuff they had.
Fingerprints.
Alright. Exit. Neither. Let's see what happens if we pick or die. Or die. Whoa. We ended up in a weird place.
Law office. Law office. Christ, look, Herman. I told you, if you're gonna call, you gotta talk. My time is expensive, you understand? I'm glad you called, though, because we need to talk. I don't know if I can take your case. I know you think those jerks are stealing your music, and if we serve them with a subpoena, they're gonna be in big trouble if they show up in court wearing those eyeball heads. But you know, as a plaintiff, you gotta show up in court, too. Are you ready for that? Talk to me, Herman. Forget it.
Hello? Hello? Is that you, Mr. Eddie? I hope so, because you haven't called me for a while.
Pizza.
How are you, Mr. Eddie? It's okay if you don't answer. I know you're just shy and not really mean or anything. I'm shy too, Mr. Eddie, so I know what it's like to want to be with people, but not know what to say. Maybe we could just be together on the phone and not say anything. I bet you'd like that, Mr. Eddie. Maybe we can just be together for a while.
I want pizza. Give me pizza.
Salvatore's Pizzeria. Come on, Mac. I ain't got all day. Okay, nobody's talking, so it must be the Mole Man. Large double mushroom, right, Mole Man?
This is the Mole Man.
You don't never order nothing else. Ain't that right, Mole Man? Let's go. Push the button so I'll know it's you. Forget it.
Hello? Hello? Oh, it's you. Why do you keep calling me? You never talk, but you're always there. You're just like my second husband. He never talked to me either.
It is
You're
like
not Arnold, are you?
it is like Hans the Mole Man.
No, he would never call me. Why don't you say something? Just tell me your name. Please? Tell me your name. There must be some reason why you keep calling me.
Because of the
Don't
button,
you
and I keep
understand?
pushing it.
I'm middle-aged and overweight, and I've been married 4 times. And yesterday, I was bit by a dog. Nobody wants me. Nobody but you. And you don't say anything. And I gotta know why. Please tell me why. Please?
I think these are these must be the Mole Man's buttons.
Please? Please?
Alright, I'm pushing this button. Tom the Scum.
Yeah? Who's there? This better not be that little albino creep again. Is that you, creep? Look, I told you not to call me again. It wasn't my fault. That Gil crud was bonging my wife, and he stabbed me in the back. You both thought I was dead, and I wish to God I knew how you found out different. But you better quit calling me, or you'll get the same as her. Not that I meant to. If she hadn't hit me, nothing would have happened.
Alright, I'm done with that. Yeah.
Hello?
It should be.
Hello?
You can use Stream Elements.
Look, I told you not to call here again.
Should use
This is sexual
PayPal.
harassment, and if you call one more time, I'm gonna report it to the police.
Do I not have that linked?
Do you understand? Bill, can you just wait a minute?
Tex. Who's Tex?
Huh? Who is this? Nobody talks, so I guess it must be Whitey the Human Worm. What do you want, Whitey? Some
I'll
cockroach
check.
soup? Oh, never mind. I'll be over later.
It's possible I accidentally unlinked it because I was having problems with my PayPal at one point. Yeah, it's if you click the tips link, it's right there on the channel page. And that'll process through PayPal. So Stream Elements processes through PayPal. It has another method, but
This is Dr. Lopez. Who is it? Is that you, Eddie? Still making the prank calls.
Wait, am I
like
Eddie?
You were a kid, huh? But you're not a kid anymore, are you, Eddie? Your mother was
it
aware
doesn't
of
have a
the social
PayPal
problems
link?
when she brought you to me years ago, but she had
That's
no
weird.
idea how deep your psychosis goes.
I have one in mine.
You've been calling me a lot lately. I know it's your way of reaching out, so let me help, Eddie. Talk to me.
That's weird.
Now, Eddie, you know I can't do a thing if you won't talk to me. Okay? Eddie? I'd love to help, but I'm going to have to hang up now. Bye, Eddie.
I'll have to look. I guess I'll look more into that.
This is Eddie, your buy or die guy from Ralph America. You know you're one of my favorites, and I would love to have a little chat, but I'm currently offline. If you have any money, please call me back at 1-800-795-3933. Now, don't forget that number. It's 1-800-795-3933. Ta-ta!
What's this number gonna be?
Hi, I'm Luscious Lulu, and I love to lick little lollipops and turn them into large and lengthy logs. Wouldn't you like a lick? No answer? But I hear you breathing, so it must be my shy guy. Hi, shy guy. I'll bet you want your regular, don't you? You want me to slowly soap up every inch of my entirely beautiful body and tell you just exactly how it feels. And you know I'll save the best
I was
parts
thinking
for
along
last.
the lines of no TV and no beer make Homer something something.
Oh, crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
Please.
Morton, thanks for the
Now, come on.
468.
You know I won't do anything without that number. Oh, shy guy. Now you've made me mad.
Thank you so much for that, Morton. And that's cool. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Hey, what's this? Hey, we found the mole man.
Yep. I always hated the sun. It hurt my eyes, made me ill. My mom never let me go out till after dark. And when I did go out, the daylight seemed to hate me too.
Hey, look, an albino.
Jeez, I get you could load of that.
I knew I was different, but I felt safe at home. My mom taught me to play piano, my only solace in life. My name was Eddie then. After my mom died, I got a job as a janitor at the local college. I met Kay Gil there. They work nights too at the library. The three of us ate dinner together in the staff lounge. They were the only friends I ever had.
Well, that's just sad.
Kay was pretty and sweet and made me feel like I wasn't so different after all. Gil was clever and confident. I was flattered by his attention. I had a crush on Kay, but soon realized something was going on between her and Gil. It surprised me too because Kay was married. Her husband, Todd, was a real brute. And Kay
I know, right?
was scared he would find out about Gil. Gil suggested we have our dinner break at my house when he found out it was nearby. Soon, we were doing it nearly every night. My playing seemed to put them in a romantic mood. I would discreetly slip out for a walk when they started making out. Soon, it was a standard routine, and even though I wished it was me with Kay, it still felt good to be part of their lives. One night, after leaving them together, I heard a noise behind me. It was Todd looking for Kay. I didn't like the way he looked at me, and I told a feeble lie. Suddenly he pounced and clubbed me with his fists again and again.
Don't lie to me, you freak. Don't lie to me. You almost think I'm real stupid, huh? You repulsive thing. Well, now I'm gonna go break up my wife's little romance. For keeps.
Dazed and hurt, I dragged myself home. I heard fighting inside and prayed I wasn't too late. But I was. Oh no.
Back for more, huh?
Then Gil sprang up, pulled the knife from Kay's body, and I stood transfixed, staring at their bodies as Gil shouted,
Eddie, we've got to get out of here.
"This is my house, Gil. Besides, you killed him in self-defense." I was in for a surprise.
You don't get it. I'm married. I've got kids. I can't let them find out about this. I can't. My wife thinks I'm a hard-working, nice guy. My life would be ruined if she found out.
You're married too? But you never... Gil begged me to take him to the doctor, though I could barely drive.
I know, right?
You've got to promise. You won't tell the cops about me. Will you, old buddy? Huh?
He didn't care that Kay was dead. I realized then that he'd just been using both of us. Gil made me drive too fast, swerving recklessly until... the sun's coming out. I can't take the glare. It hurts my eyes.
Hey, look out!
Oh no!
Gil was killed instantly, and in a state of shock, I stumbled into the forest. I was afraid. No one would believe me now.
Psycho albino killer sought in double homicide. Bodies of a man and woman were discovered in the maniac's house by curious
Oh
I
no!
slept during the
Oh
day
no!
and prowled at night. Dirt caked over my sensitive skin. One night, some men cornered me, cowering in fear and hatred.
Hey, boss, look at this critter we found swiping food.
He was grunting and snarling like a wild pig, and he's got pink eyes.
How would you like a job, son?
Now I have a new home. A trailer with glass walls filled with rocks and dirt. I was given a piano and a new identity, Herman the Human Mole. I may be a sideshow exhibit, but it's worth it if I never have to see the daylight or another human face again.
Alright, so we got the story of the Mole Man, and we got the story of the head. I feel like the other stories were like, from the, were actual, like, in the jukebox, you know? So I think we may have seen most of the content this game has to offer. This game. I mean, that was a story, right? I mean, that was actually a story. I guess we can leave too. Wait, what? Where are we now? Oh, we're here. Okay. That was weird, but okay. Whoa, this is a pretty extensive area. Way more than I thought it was. We got some Mole Man music. Herman. Herman the Mole Man.
Not that you could tell.
Right. Okay, now we know about Herman. We know Herman's story. I mean, there's no win condition on this game, so. And there's the person that was not killed by Herman, and there's oddly a knife there. That might be the knife. And yeah, good tiny viewport, totally. Wait, where are we now? Okay. I don't remember ever being here before. Where the butts are we? We may not be done. Leave me alone. Oh, is this where we came out? Oh, this is where we came out. Okay. Never mind. I thought we came out the fence area. Oh, we're here. Oh, this is the beginning. Oh, I didn't realize we could, like, go in through the fence. Oh, I see. All right. I see where we are now. We're basically at the beginning. So if we go in here, this will be the tent. Yeah, this will be the tent where everything is. Except Herman the Human Mole. So we got the residents, we got Harry the Head, which we got the story of Harry the Head. We got Jelly Jack. We haven't gotten the story of Jelly Jack. The Worm Woman. Benny the Bump. I don't know. Are we missing some stories here? Like, are we actually missing some stuff? Like, I feel we got a pretty extensive, like, story behind a few of these characters, but I thought we were supposed to find the tunes and stuff like that, but like, all we got here was this family album.
The song to get ahead and
I didn't know Harrison Ford did impressions. His Carol Channing was terrific.
Many people
The Northwest.
to being
The first time I went with a bunch of girls. I mean, I'm a...
I think that may be it. I think that may be all there is to do here, is that. Yeah, I think that's it here. I don't even know who that's supposed to be. And I don't know if there's a story behind Wanda. We've got this interactive worm thing. We've got that. I think we've done everything in here. Like, we got this.
I love the soul I see inside her, but I just can't love her.
We got that. The Bible with the worm quotes. And that's it. I think that's all that's in here. Alright. Yeah, I think we're gonna call this room done. I think we're gonna call this room done. The only one that I'm curious about is the jelly dude. I think we're gonna GG this one very soon. Like, here's Jelly Guy. And it's music. It's the music. So we get here. Not any stories or anything like that. So, yeah, I think we might be done. And he just wants us to leave.
What you want? Get out of there. You still there? Well, pour me a drink. I was the best. The best, you hear? I was the best lion tamer there ever was.
Okay, good to know. And?
I will be back, you know. I just need a little more time and my leg will be good as new.
Okay.
The big cats, they was afraid of me until Jocko, this feeble container of flea feces, bit me on the back of the leg.
That's what he's looking at. Tiger,
They say I lost my nerve, but it's not true. My leg was hurt more serious than I thought. It's only been 5 years, and so what if I drink and smoke maybe a little too much? Roxanne, the beautiful Roxanne. I love to watch her upon the trapeze. Then she left me because of this deceased backbiter. But she'll be back. When I'm in the center ring again, she'll be crawling back.
I mean, okay.
What? You seen me mit die Flusi Mabel me? So what? You think the great Texas Fritz would truly get involved with some big boob bimbo from a soccer show? It's nothing. Nothing. Wanda? That disgusting bag of bacon bits? No, I don't want to talk about her. But sometimes I hear her crying late at night and
There's a little bit going on here.
Say, buddy, will you pour me one more? Just one more and I'll tell you the story of...
He's gonna tell us a story. Alright. Oh no, he's not. He's gonna fall asleep. Never mind. Never mind. Current game trivia. We probably should do some current game trivia on this game. Just to see what we can find out about it, because we're pretty much done. So I don't think there's anything else to find. I think that's about it. Other than the stuff that we probably don't want to explore too much, which is performances and videos and stuff that likely are not. I mean, we can look and see what's in here, right? So this is basically, I think, all their videos, and we got their albums and stuff too. So I think we're pretty much done with this game. I don't even know how we quit. Is there a way to quit this game? Can we actually quit? Or do we just have to shut it down? I think we might just have to... Oh yeah, that's right. We hit Control Q. Forgot about that. So let's check out some current game trivia if we can find any about this game. I think we can. I think there's here's a Wikipedia link. Let's check it out. Well, this was apparently the Freak Show is a studio album by the Residents, released in 1990, marked the beginning of the Residents' obsession with emerging computer technology in the 1990s. Much of the music was made with various MIDI devices. The interactive Freak Show CD-ROM was released in 1994, which is what we're actually playing right now. A Freak Show stage performance by the theater company in Prague premiered in November 1st, 1995. It's raining tacos. Several songs were okay. This is about the more like the soundtrack. Don't know if I can find stuff about the actual CD-ROM. Residents, Freak Show, CD-ROM. Let's see what we can find out. go. I think I found a nice article. So apparently they began work on this in 1989. The project started life as an album and evolved into a live show, a graphic novel, and a CD-ROM. And around 1993, they began interested in producing a video game around the freak show. They had previously attempted to produce a video game in 1983 based on around the Mark of the Mole album, but it remained unproduced. The group contacted the Voyager company, which had begun working in CD-ROM again, and asked if they'd produce their freak show game. The residents worked with the collaborator, Jim Ludtke, which I guess we can look up Jim Ludtke, because apparently world famous. I don't know. I don't know. To model and animate the game through most of 1993, the game was finally released in 1994 and was highly praised all around. The original album was released as a soundtrack to the game. Gameplay. In the game, you could you would see the freaks do their act, and then find your way into their trailers where you find out more about their existence, watching fully voiced acted motion comics in the graphic novel and and music videos. The residents themselves appear in the game. Visiting their trailer will show you their music videos and play excerpts from their albums. So there we go. So there is a story behind all the residents, and I believe we pretty much found them. We got the Mole one. We got Harry the Head. Those are the only two we really found out about. We didn't get anything about Jelly, the Jelly Man, other than the music video, which maybe that's what we wanted. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna call it done. I mean, the closure on the Mole Man story is what I was looking for, right? I mean, we got closure on that, and I'd say that's good enough. So we're gonna call it done. So the timer is gonna be stopped, and we're gonna quit the game. Maybe. Oh, I'm pushing the wrong button, I think. No? Here we go. We did it. Quit the game. Alright, well that was the Residents Freak Show, which turned out there was story. They made up some Freak Show characters, and there was story there. It was mostly told via either a graphic novel, comic book type thing, or the Mole Man one was told as a... But, there was story there. So I wouldn't say there was much in the way of gameplay other than exploration. Kind of an exploration type game.